mid stretch you went live. Oh my gosh, that was so awkward.
That was the worst.
You were just so bad at this, Avelli.
Good morning.
I'm terrible. I can't do everything.
He's one of the top 5. So
one of the top 2. All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? Today is
my tears collect every night thinking about
Wednesday.
Wednesday, hump day.
Hump day.
June 4th.
Hey.
We got some packaging stuff coming up later in the show.
Waffle
we're gonna do
Wednesday, everybody. Woo!
Later in the show, we're gonna do can we solve it? So if you got a packaging question and you want a chance to win a shirt that we'll get to you at some point,
Packaging Today shirt,
or one of
that's right, Packaging Today shirt. Throw a question in the comments. We'll pick a question, and then if we can't solve it, you get a shirt. But before we get to that,
this is such a great idea.
I hope so.
I'll stop.
It's only a good idea if people participate.
Right.
Yeah. If they don't, then it's a terrible idea.
Hey, speaking about participating, I did just make these sweet new shirts that I'm hoping. Marketing alone was $1,000.
Be kind. Rewind. Is that what that is?
This was this is a rewind table for rewinding labels.
I get it. Classic label jokes. Yeah.
Be kind. Rewind. Be kind. Rewind.
Sticker joke.
Yeah.
Hey, wait. Have I told you about my Sharpie?
Stupid Sharpie.
Brought to you by Sharpie and Rewind tables.
That's right.
Sharpie.
Man, I love this Sharpie. Listen to this thing. It is like solid steel.
Wow. I bet you that's the Sharpie that Superman used when he would autograph people's chests.
Yeah, that went weird.
He starts signing Clark Kent. Superman.
Yeah.
Whew, that was close.
Hey, man. So what do we got going today, man? There's all right. So thanks, Richard. It's perfect. Richard. It's always perfect timing. All right. So
it's pretty imperfect timing.
I had, I mentioned this yesterday. I had Nate Patchka on the podcast.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Very smart
from Mezza Board. And we kind of talked about how virgin fiber can be more sustainable than recycled fiber. And that just keeps kicking around my head. Looking at going through a couple brands that had set sustainability targets for 2025. And the majority of them had like increasing recycled fiber from 0 to 50% to 75%, and like really kind of growing that area.
Yes.
But when you kind of consider that in some of these cases, actually, especially when it's like food packaging, like McDonald's had some targets, and in food packaging, that virgin might actually be more sustainable.
Why?
Kind of interesting.
Is it because Mezza Board sells food grade virgin SBS board?
That was one of the points that we made yesterday. It was like, of course they got to say that. That's what they sell. But
just because they sell it, but I've said this before, right? Like if someone has something to sell you, just double check the data, right? Trust but verify the data.
Yeah.
So what does the data say? Data. Sorry, data? Data?
Are you talking about the guy from Goonies, or are you talking about information?
Yeah. Data is a guy from Goonies. Data is information.
Isn't he from Star Wars? Like Data?
Oh, I don't know.
And he ascended Mordor and found the sword.
So the position is
packaging sword.
Recycled material, right? So if you talk about recycled material, the amount of energy that's used to recycle material,
yes,
to move the material, to separate the material, all of those processes, and then when you're talking about food packaging, all of the things are completely out of your control in terms of what goes into that system.
Yes.
Right? So I don't know. I've seen some really disgusting garbage out in the streets of Phoenix sometimes.
Yeah.
You know,
We've
that
all
makes it
been to
great.
Murph. We've all seen what goes through.
The worst
Yep.
things on the face of humanity.
Right.
Getting
I mean,
recycled and then
that's a
made
little-
back.
It's a little extreme. The worst things in the face of humanity.
If you've never seen a Dunkin' Donuts bag full of human excrement on the sidewalk of a New York street you're walking on, like that's pretty disgusting. That could definitely go through a Murph.
Yes,
Gross.
that would be gross.
Yeah, that's pretty disgusting. And then to have that paper be recycled and made into a Dunkin' Donut box that your donuts that you're bringing home to your family or your friends at the office.
Wow, that's really
delivered in.
Yeah.
This show's gotten really crappy.
I hate to paint a disgusting picture, but like that's kind of the way that
This segment is sponsored by Dude Wipes.
Right.
That's
Clean up your crap with Dude Wipes.
That's kind of one of the one of the points was like the amount of energy that goes into it.
Yeah.
The lack of
Water,
control of what materials are.
Energy. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not to say that virgin is better. It's just that maybe that's something to look at when it comes to virgin. You know, especially with those guys, like one of the things that we talked about, and again, that's what they sell, was that they manage their forests, they collect data. Is the android in Star Trek, not that other franchise.
That's just what they want you to believe, Chris.
Chris is a Trekkie.
Yeah. Live long and win at win the game of Quidditch. That's what everybody says. Live long and recycle. That would be a great T-shirt.
I like that.
Oh. So what do you think? Like, does it make sense? Does that argument make sense in terms of recycled versus virgin?
It's definitely something to consider. But when you're looking at corrugated, for example, which has been my focus for a very long time.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Corrugated.
I would have no idea.
I love boxes. You know, I do. They're near and dear to my heart. We need to look at the performance of the packaging. And we've talked about this a lot on the show. If it doesn't perform, is it really sustainable? If it's not functional, if it doesn't get the product there successfully without damaging it, does it really matter if it's 26 ECT instead of 32? Does it really matter if there's 80% PCR content if the thing becomes totally damaged and
hang on a second,
trashed?
We just wanted to get back into the comments.
Oh yeah.
Richard wants to make sure that we're clear that both those franchises coexist. Star Wars wasn't a galaxy far away, and in the past, Star Trek as well into the future. So just in case,
so we can like them both.
We can.
What he's saying.
Where does Lord of the Rings fit in? And Harry Potter?
Australia.
That's right.
New Zealand, actually.
Sorry, New Zealand.
Back to some packaging news. Back to being the packaging news podcast here. Go ahead.
Yeah. I would like to add my opinion, but I won't. I don't have any idea, and I think that my general feeling on this particular topic would be that people who sell recycled corrugated or recycled fiberboard packaging, paperboard packaging will tell you that recycling is better, and they're going to have very good reasons why. And then people who have virgin SBS board are going to give you a lot of really good reasons why, because they're both pretty awesome materials, similarly with corrugated. And if we are not using recycled paper, if there's no end market for recycling, then recycling goes away. We see this with plastics all the time. And so on some level, but also, by the way, you need virgin paper in order to recycle, in order to have good recycled material. So they're both needed. To say that one is better or more sustainable, you're probably going to be cherry picking data one way or another. Data. To make that happen.
All right. So the other piece here, before we get too far, if you got a question for Can We Solve It, drop it in the comments.
I have a question in case we don't, by the way. I'm ready.
Of course
Oh
you do.
man, I'm nervous.
I'm ready. You should be so nervous.
Super nervous. You got that.
Can we solve it?
No. The other point with virgin is that with the recycled, because you do need virgin fiber to make up for it, and the fact that those those fibers are so short, you actually need more material recycled, which means it's heavier and it takes up more energy to produce than virgin. And that argument, I think, is pretty valid.
The paper waste stream, though, it's so stout. It's so efficient. It's the most efficient, as far as I know, of the recycling streams, at least in North America.
Yeah.
So we want to encourage recycling.
Oh, absolutely. Not saying that we don't, but just saying, for the brand, going back to the brands that are saying that they want to be more sustainable and they want to do, reduce their carbon footprint and do all these other things. By moving to recycle, they're actually could potentially be increasing their carbon footprint. Right.
We do need to consider the full life cycle of that fiber, right? Like you mentioned, how many times can it be used? I think the numbers are 7 or 8, or 7 to 12 is what I've heard different people say. So that's pretty exciting that we can recycle it that many times. I just saw a life cycle assessment for plastic bottles, and on the packaging school, doing a course there. And they were comparing virgin PET to recycled PET to reusable bottles. And they said the virgin bottle was the most sustainable for the first use. Then after 6 uses, the reusable bottle becomes the runaway winner. So,
I throw mine away after 5.
Yeah, exactly. We have to look at the
How
full.
often has this water bottle been recycled? 5.
Right.
I'm out.
I'm out. Right. So reuse, I think, is a huge thing to think about when we're talking about this stuff too.
Yeah. I'm looking at Brian Frantz saying, I think.
Wait, did he say I agree with Adam?
Because Adam's kind of right.
Let's go.
Yeah. Both can work well. You just have to find the right case use for each one of those.
Yeah. Nice job, Adam.
Thank you.
It's a W for you.
Let's go.
All right, man. So let's get
crowd going wild.
I don't see any questions.
No questions, man. All right.
Oh, man.
It's not working.
I have a question then.
All right, man. So can we solve it? No questions.
This is going to be a wild ass question.
All right.
On this wild ass soap packaging.
All right. What is it? What's your question?
Ready? Now.
Never been more ready in my life.
Good. The bottom closure of this box is called what?
Auto bottom.
No, hang on.
Or is that a crash lock? 1, 2, 3.
I can't.
Is it glued? Are the corners? Are the edges glued?
That looks like a 1, 2, 3.
There's no glue with the 1, 2, 3. Aha. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Or crash lock, depending on who you ask.
Or what's another name?
1, 2, 3.
No. Snap lock bottom.
Snap lock. Yeah. Snap lock.
Snap lock bottom. 1, 2, 3 bottom.
Crash That's like lock. Canadian.
Yeah. We're from America, Adam. So
sometimes I just make it go flat, and I'm like, flat bottom girls, they make the rockin' soap go round. That's
true. See, they do.
Brian's on. Brian knows what's up. 1, 2, 3 bottom.
Yeah.
Sharon.
But great question. These are the kinds of things we want to talk about.
Absolutely.
I love
Sharon, it. Snap lock. That's only in Canada. Right?
Canadian.
Well, really, I expected you to know that because of your upbringing in
Toronto. Yeah.
I thought it was in Edmonton.
Edmonton. Yeah, I played hockey in high school there. We were the Little Oilers.
You and Wayne, right? Wayne, what was his last name? Gretzky.
I thought he wasn't your sponsor, right? That's wah, wah. The Little Oilers, sponsored by.
Oh, gross.
Yeah,
gross, guys. Don't say those things.
One
We got a
The
lot of
1,
1, 2,
2
3 bottoms. A lot
1,
of
2, 3 bottom. Seth,
left block.
what do you call this? What do you call this box bottom? Show Seth.
Boom. Whoa.
Seth knows stuff.
Seth
Good morning,
knows
Seth.
that.
Yeah, what do you
We're
call
we're looking for name this packaging style.
What is the maximum number of bottoms that a box can have?
Yeah.
I think just 1, 2, 3 is it.
it? 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah.
Seth
That's
is at
right.
the bottom of the box there. What do you call that?
What did the drummer name her 2 daughters?
Is this a
Hold on,
joke
hold
or a packaging question?
Anna 1, Anna 2.
Oh man! All right, we've gotten to this point in the show. Thank you for joining us.
I
We
just heard
did
that. Go, Joe.
Yeah, that's a
pain.
good one, Seth. What do you call that bottom? A pain.
Yes.
I am curious though. Why do you think somebody would pick a 1, 2, 3 bottom versus a reverse tuck?
Is it less material?
Not really.
It's
I mean,
all the
maybe
same.
because on a reverse tuck box, you can nest them together on a sheet pretty easily.
Yeah,
you
that's
get quite a
true.
bit up.
Security is one, right? Reverse tuck, you can just pop out.
Yeah, that's
obviously,
true.
if you try hard enough, 1, 2, 3, you can do the same. But it kind of
But
depends
for
on what.
stealing soap, is soap high theft?
Yes.
Well, as a matter of fact, the weight of that soap, because the soap is pretty dense through shipping and transport, like that would probably wiggle out a reverse tuck, right? And for anybody that's wondering, can you explain a reverse tuck, Adam?
I would love to, Avelio.
Not to dive, put the box.
So a reverse tuck on this particular box here, you see you have the tuck up here at the top. So this is going to tuck in. And then on the bottom here, there would be the same style, but it's going to come down from here and then tuck into that side.
Yep.
So it would be a little bit.
I bet it's more material. Yeah, there's the rub.
I don't know.
More material for the pack, but less material wasted on the sheet.
Correct. Because it's tough to nest this together. Whereas a reverse tuck, you can really do a good job with it.
Yeah.
You would need probably even though this has these little locking tab notches, so that when this goes in, you're right, Avelio. You're always right. That's probably going to pull.
100%.
But yeah, so maybe the calculus was, well, we'd have to add in a
wafer seal like Brian's. Yeah.
Oh, that's right, Richard. That's a common. That's an easy way to explain that. It's a deck of cards, right?
Yeah. The other option would be an auto bottom, but that adds costs. That's
this was too. This is a bit too. This would be a tough auto bottom to glue.
Because auto bottoms and corrugated have become so popular that they're having trouble keeping up with demand. Ryan Fox posted yesterday about that. It's like a lot of the gluer machines are backed up for weeks and months.
That's crazy.
Interesting. I do like my the shoe packaging that comes in an auto bottom box.
Yeah,
it's flat. It can flatten so quickly.
It's like, really would you say it's like automatic?
Well, it automatically pops up, but I just like the fact that when I'm going to crush a box, I don't have to have a knife. A knife or scissors are not involved in the process of trying to just go and then it's done.
I agree. And no tape needed to close it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Brian, I don't know on this if you want to pull up Brian's comment about the reverse tuck.
Hang on. Chris has a comment here. What do we got?
Sorry. Hey, Chris.
Is the time needed for assembly more steps key to designing the best set?
Yes. Great point.
Yeah.
But it's funny though, if you're in packaging, I mean you put that box together in a second, right? If you hand that box to anybody else, there's like 50 other ways to fold that's not gonna actually close.
Right. 1, 2,
like
3.
Thing.
Another thing to add on here is there's
I like it when they print the 1, 2, 3 on the flap, so you know.
There's a label. So this is a common box across all their SKUs of soap.
That's like the identifier.
And then they put this label to make the packaging because the label is
that's really nice.
The sticker, yeah.
I don't think on this box, Brian, that a reverse tuck would take anything away from the aesthetic uh, of the Wild Ass Soap Company. I get it when it's like prestigious brands where they want to do the straight tuck so they can have a clean front.
Yeah.
This is not that brand. There's cows on here. They have a cow on their box.
You know what does drive me crazy though, Brian, is when people put, like, if you take that box and you turn it around, Adam, and it tucks to the front.
Yeah.
Like, that drives me insane. Like, if that was, like, if they were making it where that was the front, because you'd have that hard edge on.
And then this up here is the
Yeah. Like, that's wrong. Like, just, it's wrong.
You've mentioned that several times. You don't want the flap to open away from you, or is that what you said?
When you're doing like an unboxing, you're presenting product. The pack should actually the lid should open away from you. But when it comes to a folding box like this, you don't want to have that hard edge on the front. You want the graphics from the front to roll away. Otherwise, it doesn't look like a whole piece. Now it looks like sections. And with folding carton, you're going to get a little bit of that bowing happening.
Right.
You're going to get a little bit of the space. Every time I see those things when they fold forward, it drives me bananas because it's like there's no benefit here. It just looks ugly. You're not helping your case.
When you have to spell bananas, do you still think of the
yes,
BANANAS? Go bananas.
I'd like to thank Gwen Stefani.
That's the only way I know how to spell it. So.
Yeah. Another thing on this box is this is an 18 point. And it's I think it's a recycled or is a craft paper. I don't know that this needs to be an 18 point. I think they could probably down gauge the caliper on this a little bit.
I've looked at that a lot on that kind of packaging, going to 16 or even thinner. And oftentimes the 18 point is the least expensive because it's the most common.
Yeah, that'll happen from time to time. But again, you can.
That's another one of those things that goes back to the conversation we had at the beginning, right? When we talk about sustainability, when we talk about reducing carbon footprint, if the stock sheet is a heavier weight and the thinner ones cost more because they produce them less, brands are going to go with a heavier one, increase carbon, like carbon footprint, all these other things. Like, it seems like nobody's working together towards the same goal.
Yeah. We need pre-competition collaboration. That's what we need.
Yeah. Across all industries, if we're trying to do something.
All things. Yeah. Yeah. We should, 18 point should be the standard, or 24 point or 20 point, or we should choose.
That does look like a bull.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Do you think it's a bull?
I thought it said animal parts,
Looks
but
like
it's animal fats. Okay.
Looks like a pit bull, actually.
Looks like it's an 18 point pit bull. Yeah, maybe that. I don't know my bovine differences.
Yeah. So
is that even the right word? Bovine? Or
yeah, sure it is.
Okay, good. We'll go with that.
Some say bovine, some say bovine.
Another amazing show, by the way.
Yeah, best one today.
It's the best hump day of this whole week.
Yeah.
All right. Hang on a second. All right. So the question is that a bull?
Oh, we got another one.
What did they use from the bull?
That's right.
I think there's actually, looking at the ingredients, it says Rocky Mountain oysters. If you know what those are.
You nailed it, Adam. So no shirt for you. No shirt.
You guys solved it. Congratulations.
Richard,
way to solve it.
So a quick question from Sarah before we wrap up here. Are there ways to best give advice or influence brands to opt into smaller gauge or reduced footprint options over the standards? Corey?
Yes, that's a great idea. And we do that often, but we have to look at the total cost, right? And we have to look at, you're thinking about a custom thickness of material. Maybe that you have to think all the way back to the paper mill. Is that going to force the paper mill to turn on their machine another time? Is it going to require another setup? Will there be waste in that process? So there's things like that we need to consider as well. But generally, it comes down to performance, then cost, then sustainability.
And availability, right? Because the mill cycles can run, if you're buying mill direct paper, those things can run 12 to 16 week mill cycles. And so oftentimes you have to be in a regularly warehoused type of material, or else, you can buy from a paper converter. Your cost might be a little bit more expensive, but there's a lot of factors from a paperboard perspective. Hey, real quick.
Going back to Sarah's question.
I have a point on Sarah's question. So after you, Avelio, please go off.
Her question though was, what are the ways to best give advice? Like, how can you influence? Right.
I was going to answer the question, but I just
go ahead. You were just jabbering.
We're on pins and needles.
Thank you. So this is a real life example. I had a customer that I thought they were using cold foil. I think I've shared this before on the show, so apologies if I have. They were using cold foil on their labels, and it was this tiny little logo, and we had to load all of the foil up, and then just this little tiny bit came off. And I was trying to tell them, this is a bad idea. We don't need to do this. It's just use, because they were doing an overlam on top of the cold foil anyways. So I went and I took the roll of waste and I brought it into their office and I set it down. They're like, what's this? I'm like, well, you guys pay for this every time we run labels. All of this waste is in your cost of labels and it all goes to the trash. So I thought maybe you'd want it. And they were like, whoa.
Because you've paid for it, right?
Because you paid for it. So the methodology was like show versus tell. I was telling them the whole time, but until they actually saw what was happening, it was like, this is all waste that you are paying for.
And they see the tiny little star that got stamped out, right? Like missing.
It was just a little tiny logo. And I was like, nobody cares if this is a foil or if it's a metallic ink. And they were going to save money, the whole thing, right? So like, while the logic was always there until I actually was like, just like, bam, here you go.
Right.
I'm like, oh, so I'm a big believer in show versus tell.
That's a great idea.
I always think it just depends on who you're talking to, right? So if you've got the ear of finance, I kind of go down that path. If you're working with creative, then I kind of go down the sustainability, better quality, better, materials. But if you're trying to get them down gauge or make a shift, it's like, if we do X, you're going to save Y and you're going to improve Z. Right? Like you got to kind of show each department.
You got to show the options, right?
Yeah, and you got to show each department what the benefits are to them, and not on carbon footprint, not on all this stuff. That comes after. It's like, if we do this,
and be willing to run the trials at your own cost.
1,000,000%.
You could down gauge the folding carton, but the carton erector machine is super sensitive and they have it all dialed in, and
could cost you a
purchasing makes the decision, but now nobody can run it. It's got a bunch of weight. Like, you might, there's just things that people don't think about. Bam. That's my new tagline. Bam.
I've never heard that before. That's a brand new idea.
Yeah. I just thought of it right now myself. Bam.
All right, man. Brian agrees with you 100%. You really got to figure out how everything works. Through the
Adam gets 3 gold stars today.
You did.
I did. They're actually gold doubloons because of my pirate ship. Bam!
Perfect. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this up.
Wait. Bam! Okay.
Ammo.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up. If you got any questions, all right, save your good packaging questions for next Wednesday when we do, what's it called, Adam?
Bam! We solved it.
All right. Other than that, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much.